They can walk into a room full of strangers and within minutes, everyone is watching them. Not because they're the loudest, but because they pull attention like gravity. There's something electric about them. The way they laugh, the way they speak, the way they look at you, as if you're the only person alive. Their energy is intoxicating. You feel special, wanted, chosen. But when you turn away, when you stop clapping, when the spotlight dims, something in them fractures. Because that applause you gave them, it wasn't just admiration, it was oxygen. This is the hidden reality of people with histrionic personality disorder, the performers of the human world, forever chasing connection through chaos and love through illusion. For them, life is not simply lived, it's performed. Every conversation, every interaction, every glance carries an unspoken goal to be seen, to be remembered, to never fade into the background. They don't just tell stories, they paint them with expression. They don't just smile, they radiate. They don't just feel, they overflow. Their world is color, sound, and movement, all dialed too high. You can sense the desperation behind the charm, as if silence itself might swallow them whole. Their emotions crash like waves, joy, rage, heartbreak, all vivid, all consuming, all real in that moment. They're not pretending, they become their emotions. But when the moment passes, it leaves them empty again. Like an actor walking off stage, I'm sure who they are once the audience leaves. Imagine living in a world where your sense of existence depends on how others respond to you. You only feel real when someone's eyes are on you. You only feel loved when someone's smiling because of you. That's the internal world of a histrionic mind. Every compliment hits like a drug, powerful, fleeting, addictive. Every silence feels like withdrawal. They're not trying to manipulate. They're trying to survive. Their charm is armor. Their flirtation is safety. Their drama is a language. One that says, please don't forget me. And underneath the laughter and color lies a quiet truth. They're terrified of being ordinary because ordinary feels like invisible, and invisible feels like death. To outsiders, they're often seen as too much, too emotional, too seductive, too dramatic. But those labels barely touch what's really happening inside. Behind the sparkle is exhaustion. Behind the laughter is fear. Behind the flirtation is loneliness. They live in extremes, love or rejection, adoration or abandonment, spotlight or darkness. There is no middle ground. They crave intensity because intensity feels like proof. Proof that they matter, that they're unforgettable, that they're someone. But the cost of that performance is enormous. It's a cycle of emotional highs and crushing lows. One day they're adored, the next forgotten. And each time the applause stops, they fall a little further into themselves. So, where does it begin? How does a person become trapped in the need to perform? The roots almost always lead back to childhood, to a little boy or girl who learned early that love must be earned. Maybe they had parents who only praised them when they behaved, achieved, or looked perfect. Maybe affection was inconsistent, sometimes overflowing, sometimes withdrawn. Maybe they were surrounded by chaos, and the only way to be noticed was to create chaos of their own. Over time, they built a belief system that still haunts them as adults. If I'm not interesting, I'll be ignored. If I'm not beautiful, I'll be unloved. If I'm not dramatic, I'll disappear. So they crafted a personality around survival, a dazzling, dramatic persona that demands attention. And the world rewarded them for it. Teachers loved their charm, friends loved their energy, partners fell for their passion. But no one noticed the fear beneath it all, the fear that if they stopped shining, no one would stay. Falling in love with someone who has histrionic personality disorder feels like standing too close to the sun. They'll make you feel seen, adored, wanted in a way no one else ever has. You'll think it's fate. You'll think you've found your soulmate. But soon, you'll start to feel the heat. They need constant reassurance, not once, not twice, but endlessly. They crave attention like air. And if you give them anything less than full devotion, they feel rejected. A simple text delay becomes proof that you're losing interest. A quiet evening feels like punishment. A compliment to someone else can trigger a storm. They might flirt to win your attention back, or to test if they still have power over you. They don't mean to hurt you. They're terrified of losing control of your gaze. And when you finally pull away, overwhelmed, drained, they'll call you cold, distant, unloving. But deep down, they know the truth. They know they built love like a stage play, and it's hard to live in fiction forever. When the lights fade and the crowd is gone, they're left standing alone in the silence, the costume's still on, the makeup's still fresh, but the audience has gone home. That's the part no one sees. The tears that come after the laughter, the crushing loneliness that follows every grand gesture, the deep confusion of not knowing who they really are outside of how others see them. Because when your entire identity depends on others, solitude feels unbearable. They scroll through old messages just to remember being wanted. They'll reread compliments like prayers. They'll do anything to feel real again. But the silence always returns. And in that silence lives the pain they've been running from all along. And yet, some of them do stop running. They step off the stage. They start therapy. They begin to peel off the mask layer by layer. It's terrifying because underneath the persona is a self they've never truly met, a quieter self, a softer one, a real one. Through therapy, they start to see patterns, how their need for attention came from neglect, how their drama was a shield, how their seduction was really a plea for safety. They learn that love doesn't vanish in silence. That being seen isn't the same as being understood, and that real connection comes not from performance, but from vulnerability. Healing doesn't mean losing their spark. It means learning to shine without burning themselves out. People with histrionic personality disorder aren't villains. They're survivors. They built their personalities out of necessity, not malice. They wanted love. They just learned to chase it the only way they knew how, by becoming unforgettable. But behind every laugh, every flirtatious glance, every perfectly timed tear, is someone terrified of being invisible. So the next time you meet someone who lights up the room, who seems too perfect, too charming, too alive, look closer. They might not be shining for joy. They might be shining so they don't disappear. And maybe the kindest thing you can do is to see them, truly see them, without needing the performance. If this glimpse into the histrionic mind left you unsettled, intrigued, or curious about the darker layers of human behavior, there's more waiting in the shadows. Subscribe and step deeper into the world where psychology meets darkness, where the mind reveals its secrets, and every light hides a shadow. Because in the end, understanding others means confronting the darkness within ourselves.